Hey everybody, welcome back to PBI Radio, and in this segment I'm going to be joined by Seth Mayhem Mitchell, Mr. Spartan Warrior himself. Should be an interesting conversation. Let's get right to it. Seth Mitchell, welcome.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Thanks for being here, man. Tell me about yourself, Seth. Tell me where you're born. Where were you born?
Virginia Beach, Virginia.
And tell me about life growing up there in your early age. You like playing sports in your neighborhood, right?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your last question?
I said, tell me about life growing up there, and you were playing sports a lot in your neighborhood. That's how you grew up, right? Interested in sports.
Yes, never played any organized sports, but just basketball and football in the streets and stuff like that. It wasn't the most pleasant childhood growing up as far as my living situation, but there was a lot of love there, but I witnessed a lot of abuse from my not abuse on me, but my mom. A lot of spousal abuse and things of that nature, and the typical stories. Lights on one month, lights off the next month. Water on, water off. Just a lot of stuff like that growing up. But there was always a lot of love, and as far as my sports, I love playing basketball. I love playing football, and I got the nickname Little Superstar around my neighborhood, my peers, because I just, excelled, and I would always get picked first on the team, and stuff like that. But that was pretty much my life, growing up in Virginia, eating sardines for dinner. I know Benny Seal rapped about it, and I lived it, but everything, I think it's definitely shaped and molded me into the man that I am today. And I came to Maryland. I've been in Maryland ever since I was 12 years old.
Yeah, and was it a way different environment moving to Maryland?
Yeah, way different environment. We moved up here, stayed with my grandparents. At one point, it was like 11 of us in a 3-bedroom house. It was crammed at times, but again, there was still always a lot of love, and that's when I got involved into organized sports. As far as actually, I still didn't play organized sports until I went to middle school. And I played basketball and then football when I got to high school. But it definitely changed my life coming here, not having my father around, but having a lot of mentors and things such of that nature when I played like football and basketball, my high school coaches and things like that.
Yeah, what's the name of your high school? You became a legend at your high school for playing football and stuff.
One part high school.
And you became an All-American. What's that mean to you at that age? Do you understand how special it is when you became an All-American?
I mean, at the time, I didn't, but big to me now. But my biggest achievement for me was being the first person to have my jersey retired at Aquin Park, and being the player of the year for the state of Maryland and the defensive player of the year for the state of Maryland my senior year. Those are the three things that stand out the most. But above all was having my jersey retired. When I go to the high school now and I walk into the gym and see my jersey hanging up in the gymnasium, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's got to be a great feeling. Number 48 hanging up there. Alone, right? You're the first number retired, right?
You said what?
Are you the first number retired in your school?
I was the first football jersey retired. It's only 2, and I was the first. That's
incredible. And you received offers from a dozen colleges, and you chose MSU. Why was being a Spartan so important to you?
It was initially I thought I was going to be a basketball player, and thinking about some schools to go to. Michigan State, and I believe it was in 2000 they had won the national championship, and so that kind of sparked my interest right there as far as choosing a college. So I thought I was going to be a basketball player, but then once I stopped growing taller and I started getting more size on me, I switched to football. And so because I initially liked Michigan State for basketball school because they had just won the national championship, I started turning my attention to the spars on the football field, and then both of them, well, Michigan and Michigan State offered me scholarships on the same day, and but I took my visit to Michigan State, and I just loved the atmosphere, the team, the players. I bonded with them well. I enjoyed the coach, but most of all, it was just the atmosphere. It was like just like a college community, college campus, and icing on the cake was that I got to keep my high school football number, which is 48, so I wore that in college as well.
And you were causing mayhem for your opponents there. And where'd you pick up the nickname Mayhem? Who named you that?
College teammate Jason Teague. He was a running back. Once I decided to box, we stood outside of Cherry Lane, and Michigan State just started throwing out names, and Mayhem was one of the names. I liked the definition. It fit my style. And it had a nice ring to it with Mitchell, Mayhem Mitchell. So I just kept it and, ran with it.
So you brought your legend with you from high school to MSU. You were great, had a great career, and you were considered to be a probable first-round pick. But you were plagued by knee injuries, weren't you?
Yes, I was. And there's a misconception. I never got injured on my left leg. There was never a play where I, tore my knee up and just could never get. It was just, I had articular cartilage. It was a sharp pain that would just continuously shoot through my knee, and it just progressively it got worse. And I would try to get a surgery, and it would feel better. And once I start, maneuvering on it again, I would feel the same pain, and it would, intensify. And that led to 7 surgery, and ultimately led to me hanging up my cleats.
Wow, it's got to be frustrating. Seven times you got to be on the bench and stuff, And
it was frustrating, but what don't kill you make you strong, and it definitely gave me a better appreciation of just not taking things for granted. Mm-hmm. It's just a blessing, like that I'm still able to come out here and compete at a high level in boxing, and I don't take for granted. I thank God every day that I'm still able to compete at a high level.
And when it was all said and done, you said how you got seven surgeries in total, but you still finished with a degree in criminal justice and security management.
Absolutely.
How'd you choose that?
And that was never really, like I told people before, the way that I wouldn't have received my degree is if I had left to go to school early. It never was a question whether I was gonna, I couldn't handle college. I take that as a challenge too. You know what I mean? I'm very competitive, so that was just a given. And it didn't even seem that important to me until I always knew I was gonna graduate unless I just left to go to the NFL. But man, the day I walked across the stage, it felt so good. Like, man, I did it. Even though I never thought that I wouldn't, but it was just like I accomplished it. You know what I mean? It felt really good to walk across the stage and graduate.
Yeah, I'm sure for your family too. It's great to see someone in your family succeed like that. Tell me how boxing came into your life. You're without football. You graduated from. You got a degree in criminal justice. How do you choose to start boxing?
I was circulating my resume. I never thought about boxing at all. I was at best a casual boxing fan. I would only watch the very, big fights. And I was watching the Contender one. I believe it was season 2006 that season, and I also was my son locked me out of the house, and I don't know if he know how to open up the door. This boy's. But anyway, I was watching the Contender, and I saw highlights of Tom Zbikowski, ESPN, his pro debut at Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And once I saw him have success, it just sparked my interest, and it was because I played against him. Every year I would play against him, and I said if he could do it, I could do it, and just gave it a try, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So where did you go to try it? What gym did you go to?
It went when I was down there. I just started. I didn't really go to. I think I went to a gym once while I was down in Michigan, but I just started running. Started to get my body used to running miles instead of running sprints. And so I just worked out by myself when I was down there for probably about 2 months because I knew I was coming back down here to really get started my boxing career in Maryland, and I had to leave, so I left Michigan. And my first gym down here was Old School, and I stayed at Old School for a year, and then I've been at Dream Team Boxing Gym ever since.
Mm-hmm. And when you found out boxing, you were going to pursue it. What's your wife and your mother say when you go to them and tell them? Were you married yet?
No, I wasn't married at the time.
No.
Wasn't married at the time. My wife, she was 8 months pregnant. She was working full time for the University of Michigan State, and she was going to law school part time. And I told her I had to come down here, come back to Maryland, surround myself around a good strong foundation as far as the people that was going to be with me in boxing. And she supported me. I mean, she's a trooper. She supports me in everything that I do. Now, whether she thought I was crazy or not, that remains to be said. She didn't let me feel any of that. And, she just supported me 100%. And that actually allowed me to stay down here and focus more and knowing that she supports me, and I just have boxing on my plate, so it definitely helped me out a lot. And my mom the same way, she supported me. Of course, she still both of them still get nervous to this day, and not necessarily say they love boxing, but they support what I do.
And it's important to have support from the people you love. And tell me about what you noticed when you started boxing and the differences between boxing and football. There's some similarities too. We all know that you don't play boxing though. Were you good right off the bat?
I was pretty good off the bat. I mean, I've been blessed with it's always good to have power. You can't teach power really, so I definitely had power. I had the athletic background as far as being an athlete. I was strong and I was fast, and I had the will and the work ethic. So I had all of the intangibles that you would want in an athlete, and I just had to, fine tune some things. My trainer Andre Hunter as he's been with me since day one, since my first week into the gym. So I definitely had those, and I was like knocking people out when I first started boxing. But it was a little, rough, just brawling, no real boxing technique, and we just had to fine tune things. And like I said, I'm still learning today, but I'm a quick learner, and I'm doing a good job thus far.
And you're just starting out. You're kind of late in age, but I know it's not easy. It's not unheard of though. We have guys like Sergio Martinez who seem to just be naturally athletically gifted people. Sergio makes it look easy, but tell me about your transformation in the gym. How long did it take for you to start feeling like a boxer?
Probably about I'm 26 fights into my pro career, and probably I started feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more comfortable around my 17th fight. Mm-hmm.
And you had a short amateur career. You went 9-1. Why'd you decide to turn pro when you did?
Because I wanted to try to go to the Olympics, which I knew was a long shot because I started. It was only like 15 months before the Olympics were to begin. But age, and I didn't want to wait around to, try for another Olympics. I wanted to, have my amateur career as a professional. And, my main thing is my health, financial security, and then belts. So I just wanted to get my career started and started making some money and to support my family.
Yeah. Now you're approached by Golden Boy already, right? Even without having a pro fight yet. How's that feel to be approached by Oscar De La Hoya? It's got to be an awesome feeling.
It feels good. Like I said, arguably, they're the top, in my opinion, is the top promoter, but arguably there's two top-ranking Golden Boy who are the top promoters out there. And for me to be signed with Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions, is just, it was a blessing to be 25 years old, only had 10 amateur fights, and signed with Golden Boy after my second pro fight was just like unheard of. I didn't even realize how big of a deal it was when it actually happened until like being in the boxing business so far, and what everybody was saying, it was huge for me to sign that contract.
Yeah. Was your first fight with Golden Boy your second fight or your third fight?
My third fight was with Golden Boy, but I was signed with him before my second fight.
Mm-hmm. And in your third fight, you have your first draw with Alvaro Morales.
Exactly.
What do you remember about that fight with Morales?
I remember it was my first time flying out to California, fighting on a big card, having, Richard Schaefer and all of them right there in first row. And, Alvaro was just, he was very experienced. He did what he had to do, to get his draw. Like I said, I felt that, actually felt that I could have won the fight or he could have won the fight. If they'd have said, I would have been disappointed if they'd have said he won, but I wouldn't have felt that I was robbed. And if I would have won the fight, he probably would have felt, he would have had the same sentiment. It was a very close fight, so a draw was was a good call. Actually, when the ref, they said I was the winner. They said the last, but I knew something was wrong. The last score, they said it was even, and they said the winner, Seth Mitchell. And when I went over there to dap Alvarez up, I told him, I said that was a draw. I said the fight should have been a draw, and then it was like, correction, it was a draw. You know what I mean? So it was a good fight. He tied me up, and the main thing that he did that was just experience. As soon as we would break, he would fire off like 3 or 4 punches, and nothing big would hit me, but maybe like a couple of them would graze me, and that was just, I guess, that caught the eye of the judges. And whenever I got on the inside, he would tie me up and not work, and then he just had a little, good head movement. He just, he could fight, and his experience showed up in that fight. I fought him again, I believe, in my 12th fight, and I beat him in a unanimous decision.
Yeah, you took him on again, and what do you remember about the second fight as opposed to the first one? Did you feel like does it feel good that you see that you must be improving if you kind of shut the guy out like you did?
Absolutely. I mean, I try to improve and learn something in each of my fights. And for that fight, I knew I didn't want to let him tie me up. At that time, I had became a better inside fighter, and just knowing not to let him get off on breaks and things like that. So I just took my experience that I've learned in the gym sparring and in the previous fight that I had before the rematch to try to get better, man. And I did. I wanted to stop him, but I got the unanimous decision, so that was good.
Yeah, and you pretty much shut him out on the cards. And your next fight after the rematch with Morales, you have your first fight on ESPN2, Friday Night Fights. That's big. How'd you feel when you found out that your fight would be aired? Did you have any added nerves?
So that was against the Carthrons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I didn't have that much nerves because I didn't know. I told people, I might, be on TV, and I only told a couple of people because I was a swing bout, so I didn't actually know that I was going on TV until I was actually, a few hours before the fight. But it definitely added, some nerves. But I try not to let the nerves overwhelm you. People tell me the nerves are natural, but you still got to go out there and perform. And I was just glad that I was able to go out there and dispose of him in the first round I played.
Yeah, it was quick, first round. And a couple of fights later, you fight Zach Page. What do you remember about Zach? He's an experienced guy.
Fight thus far from my pro career.
Yeah, tough fight.
Takeaway, if you go look at my last fight against Charles Witherspoon, I've never been, hurt like that in a fight before. But if you erase the last 40 seconds of the first round, I pretty much dominated that whole fight. But with Zach Page, man, that was a tough fight. It was my first time, my only time going 8 rounds actually, and he presented a lot of. He would come out orthodox. He would come out conventional. He had good leg, good head movement. He would pot shot you, and he presented, different angles, and he definitely made me think. And to a long story short, he was only 202 pounds, so my game plan was to press him out, weigh him down, and dispose of him, in the latter part of the fight. But in the first 4 rounds, I was pressing him, but he was, by me being the bull, he was hot-shotting me. And, I was pressing him and I was working his body, but he was landing like some clean pot shots that, were real clear to the judges. And after going back to my corner in the fourth round, I had it 2-2. And so I said, okay, man, I got to change this up. So I said, I'm going to start boxing him. And I went out in the middle of the ring and basically won the fight with my jab. Just doubling, tripling my jab, 1-2s, backing him up. Every time he would try to, come to me instead of me being the bull, I would just keep him at bay with my jab. And he said, even after the fight, he said, man, your jab won you the fight. And he said it's a lot faster and a lot stronger than, I thought it would be because of your style. But he definitely, I learned a lot in that fight. And definitely it was my toughest fight as a pro.
And that was your first time going 8 full rounds. How did you feel after, when it was over? Exhausted?
I train hard. I know a lot of people, they say, he can't go the distance, or, I want to take him into deep waters. But this is my job, and I train hard. And I wasn't tired at all. When I'm training for 10 rounds, I'm training for 12. When I'm training for 12 rounds, I train for 15 rounds. So, this is what I do to put food on my table for my children and my family. So, I wasn't tired at all. And, I'm looking forward to, now I was about to say I'm looking forward to going the distance, but actually I'm not, because I want to get them out of there.
Yeah, usually you make quick work of your guy, and you fought Johnny White. You made quick work of Johnny White. 22-1 guy on Friday night fights again. That's a rough fight too, right? What do you remember about Johnny White?
Yeah, that was probably the most nervous that I've ever been in a fight, because that was my first time facing somebody with a record like that. Mm-hmm. And that was my first time knowing that I was going to be on TV. So basically, I told everybody, to tune in. So I knew the lights, camera, action, it was there. So I was that was the most nervous I've been in any fight.
Yeah, you seem to be being brought along pretty good. Your next fight, you fight Derek Bryant on the big Juan Manuel Marquez Juan Diaz fight. What was it like fighting on that card? Pretty big card.
I loved it. And after I fought Johnny White, they told me they was gonna bring me back out to Vegas. So I believe that was my Vegas debut. It was like crickets. I had there was about 100 people in the stands for that fight, and 30 of them were my fans and friends that came down from Maryland to the fight. But that was actually the first time that I fought somebody, and I knew after the first 10 seconds, I knew they were scared. Mm-hmm. That's the only time that after the first 10 seconds, I knew they were scared. And but I was just glad I went out there. It was big for me to go out there and do what I did. I didn't expect to, get them out of there in a minute or something in the first round, but I wanted to look impressive, and I definitely did that night.
Mm-hmm. And you stopped him, then you stopped Derek Brown, Torres Sykes, Charles Davis, then you fight Evans Quinn on Showbox. How'd you like your Showbox debut? More quick work.
Oh, I loved it. And he just added fuel to the fire with all his antics pre-fight. Saying talking a lot of noise, getting up in my face, and we taking pictures. He putting his fist a centimeter away from my lips and stuff like that, and jumping at me during the weigh-in. So those are not antics that I do, but he just added fuel to the fire. So I actually wanted him to get up. He got stopped in the first round, but he could have got up. He quit. Mm-hmm. If he wanted to get up, he could have got up. He quit though.
There's a dog in Evans Quinn.
Yeah. And he done it with God to hear. What happened with him afterwards? By him, did you hear about that?
No. Let's see. Tell me about it. Maybe I did.
I probably was within a year after I fought him, or 6, 7, 8. Within a year after I fought him, he in prison for the rest of his life. He for murder.
Say that?
He walked into, I think over there in Nicaragua or whatever, he walked into a restaurant. I guess somebody had beef with his cousin or one of his family members or something like that, and they might have killed his family member, but he in like a regular restaurant, like with everybody in there, he just walked up to him and like shot him like 9 times.
Wow. That, if anyone ever wonders what happened to Evans Quinn, that's what happened. That's crazy. Then you fought Hector Ferreiro.
Yes.
That was your 8th KO in a row, and it put you on HBO on the undercard of the Khan Lamont Peterson fight. Your toughest fight to date, on paper anyway, against Timur Ibragimov. Take me through that fight.
I knew it was going to be a step up, but I definitely planned to win. As I do with every fight, I definitely expected to win. I knew he was a more technical fighter, and I knew I had to worry about his right hand, even though he caught me a couple of times, not real flush with the right hand, but I knew it was going to be a technical fight. But I expected to stop him around about 7 to 8 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that I let my hands go, came back with a counter hook, and that started damage, and I just jumped on him. But I was real excited about that fight. I was glad to be on that card, and I wanted to be the first person to stop him. I actually wanted to knock him down too, but I didn't get that done. But I was the first person to stop him.
You can't get everything you want all the time. Did you stay and watch the main event that night, Amir Khan Lamont Peterson?
Yes, I did. Great fight.
Now.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then Lamont, of course, he fought with PEDs in his system. You fought on the card. What do you think when you heard about Lamont Peterson testing positive and PEDs in boxing right now? What do you think of that situation?
I know Lamont personally, and so I'm not. I don't think that he would intentionally cheat to try to get advantage, to try to get an advantage. I know Khan, I know Lamont, but I know Lamont on more of a personal level, and it's really not his character. So I was surprised when I heard the information, but I had a lot of people asking me questions about it, and I just chose not to comment, because all I can go is off of how I know him as a person, and that's just it's really not his character. He's a good dude, man, and I just leave it at that.
Yeah. Kind of hope the best for him.
Hope for the best for him. Yes, absolutely.
And the win opened up a lot of eyes, and a lot more eyes than were open before that. People started seeing you as a serious threat. Did you feel any more pressure on you since the homegrown, American-born champ call started up?
Not really. I don't like to. I would feel more pressure, I guess, when I believe in. I'll start off by saying I believe in myself. I believe in my abilities, and I believe that I have all the necessary tools to become heavyweight champion of the world. But as far as me, going out there saying that I'm the best American heavyweight, I'm this and I'm that, that's just not my style. It sounds so much better when other people say it. And so I think, I like the pressure, but I'm not the one to put extra pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Just try to go out there and get better and perform, and at each and every fight, it's a lot of other fighters out there that, claim that they're the best American heavyweight, and they can have that title. I'm just going to continue to get better and try to win every time I get out there, and the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, I think it might have had a positive way on your thinking, playing football first and having that team organized, like, together feeling, It doesn't feel like you're so alone and stuff.
Right, exactly. It's a lonely sport, man. And another question that I always get asked is, what do you miss about football? And the one thing that I can honestly say that I miss is the team camaraderie.
Yeah. You just seem more like the focus isn't all about you, and I think that could hurt sometimes when you get focused on that.
Yep.
In your last fight in April, you fought Chaz Witherspoon on HBO on the big Hopkins-Dawson 2 fight. What do you recall about that night, Chaz Witherspoon?
I knew Chaz Witherspoon was going to be actually, when I looked at my last 2 opponents, him versus Timur, I knew Chaz would be a tougher fight than Timur. Timur just because he lets his hands go and he'll get in a fight. And I mean, at the same time, I wanted to get in a fight because whenever he gets in fights, he doesn't seem to fare too well. But when you have a 200 and something pound man punching at you, you know, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew styles make fights. Timur was more of a technical fighter, so he wasn't gonna like push the issue and get into a shootout, whereas that could very well be the case with Chaz Witherspoon, and you know, he took advantage of me not moving my head enough and bending over at my waist, caught me with a few right hands in the first round, and then he just went in for the kill. Unfortunately, his approach was wrong. He didn't attack the body at all. You know, he didn't try to stay calm and finish me, and he allowed me to survive, to hold, to grab, to do whatever I needed to do to get out of the first round. And then after the first round, I was sitting in my corner. I was thinking, okay, what just happened? Okay, he's keeping me at bay with his jab, and that let him get on track with his right hand. So I said, I can't let him stay on the distance. I got to get on the inside, and in this particular fight, I got to make it a dog fight, and that's what I did. And he couldn't adjust. He couldn't stop me from attacking his body, and then I think that really is what turned the tables in this fight. I slowed him down. If you watched it, I noticed it during the fight, about a minute or something left in the second round, he was tired. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't adjust.
Yeah, you keep saying adjust. I was just going to say how it's interesting how you keep mentioning how during the fights you make an adjustment, and that's important for being a championship level fighter. You stay thinking and you stay focused and you stay changing your game plan when it's needed. So that's pretty impressive, Seth. You know, and then speaking of the Hopkins-Dawson 2 fight, you Bernard Hopkins is also a Golden Boy. What kind of relationship do you have with Bernard Hopkins since?
I mean, I don't necessarily have a relationship. It's not like it. When we see each other at functions, he'll give me some words of wisdom and we'll dap up and say what's up. But as far as like me, we having each other's numbers, we don't have each other's number, and I don't talk to him on the phone. So
no advice came from Bernard, really? He gives you a little advice in there?
Oh yeah, I mean when we see each other at events, he'll give me advice. And actually before this last fight, I got the opportunity. Not this last fight, when I fought Timur Bragimov, I got the opportunity to talk to him in the back room for probably about 10 to 15 minutes, and he was just giving me some insight just on life and on boxing, in general, and just telling me to fine tune certain things in my boxing game. His main key was to focus on defense, and the saying goes, offense wins game, defense wins championships, and that goes for boxing as well.
Yeah, he could give you some advice that's priceless, Bernard Hopkins.
Absolutely.
Where do you feel you are right now? How far from challenging a Klitschko? You think it's coming?
I think it's coming. I believe I'm about a year away. I think I can fight one of the Klitschko brothers. I would like to fight one of them. The end of 2013. I think I need about three more fights, 3 or 4 more fights, and then I'll be ready to fight the Klitschkos. And I feel that I'm ready for the top 10 right now.
Yeah, totally realistic. And which Klitschko would you rather fight first if it was up to you?
Yeah, pick your poison. Both of them bring different things to the table. Vladimir is Vladimir is the oldest one, right?
I think Vitaly's the oldest one.
Oldest one is Vitaly. I think he'll fight you more. He'll throw more body shots. He's got punches coming from different angles, but he's not as athletic and he's not as fast. Mm. And the younger brother, I think he's more athletic. He uses his legs more as far as being in and out, controlling distance, and he has light switch power. Mm. He can hit you one time and put your lights out, whereas I think the oldest brother, he can punch too, but he'll beat you down more.
Yeah, and he seems more and more tough mentally too, like the big brother, and that's what.
So I guess you just flip a coin, man, when it comes to one of them, because what you don't have in the other one, you have in the other one.
Yeah, yep. And some fighters like to get away from all their distractions and focus on training. When you go away training, you focus on training better by being around everyone that you love. That's how you like it, right? Not going away. Why does that work for you?
I mean, I'm not saying that I would never go away for training camp, but if you get a chance to meet me or if you know me, I'm a family man. I love my family, and I don't have a big entourage. The people that I hang with, they know when it's 7 to 8 weeks away from my fight, it's game time for me. So I don't have a lot of distractions, but I enjoy going to the gym and then still being able to come home and have dinner with my family, read my children some bedtime stories, watch them up or what have you. I enjoy that time, with my family. Like I said, boxing is not about me. This is about, my family and my inner circle, and I enjoy those things. Not saying that I would never, go away, but I know some fighters go away for like 3 months for a training camp. I can probably say 100% sure I would never go away for 3 months for a training camp and be away from my family. Now, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, what I'm saying, I might, start training camp here and then, go away for the last month. But I enjoy spending time with my family.
Yeah, and it seems like a real close family. I saw this documentary of you on YouTube, and I saw you washing dishes and cleaning the house and feeding the babies and putting the kids to sleep, getting splinters.
That wasn't just for the cameras either, man. That's what I do.
Yeah. So you're not just a former college football great and current contender for the heavyweight championship of the world. Even more importantly, you have a great family. And tell me about your household. Bring me inside the Mitchell household. What's it like?
Oh, well, I'm married to Danielle. I've known her since she was 17. We met in college. We have 2 children together, 5-year-old daughter, Ariel Mitchell, and my son just turned 20 months. 20 months old. He's Seth Austin Mitchell, but we call him Austin. We stay here in Maryland. Got a nice single family household. Just a lot of love. But like I said, I met my wife in college. Known her since she was 17, and December 1st we would be married for 4 years.
That's beautiful, man. And what do you think of other up and coming guys in the division? What's your opinion on David Price and Tyson Fury? You got Manuel Char, Robert Helenius. Anyone that comes up that you got your eye on?
I haven't seen Char fight. I've just now heard him because he's about to fight one of the brothers. Mm-hmm. But I mean, all those names that you name, I think all of them can fight. They're good fighters, and I don't know about Char. How tall is Char?
I think he's 6'2", 6'3", on the pretty big guy.
Yeah, well, he's like my height, but all them other ones, they giants, man. 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", and they can definitely fight. And I think that those would be great fights in the future. And I think the heavyweight division has a lot of good heavyweight fighters out there. And it can be a lot of good fights, that are made. But first thing is first, somebody has to take the belts away from the brothers. Yeah. And I respect them. I'm the first to say, I respect them. And people say, well, they're born. They might be born, but they're effective and they know how to win, and they use their God-given attributes to have dominated the sport the last 7 to 8 years. So once somebody can take care of them, I think the heavyweight division will get a lot more exciting.
Yeah, people act like the Klitschko's got it nailed down, but they can't have too many more years going. And I think it'll be an interesting division once they're going to. I think it's going to stay being interesting. I think it's interesting now. I think it's a pretty good division. It's just not, you're the only one that happens to be in America, so it seems like there's not much talent coming along. But worldwide, boxing's fine, I think. And you make yourself available to your fans as much as you can. And we know you're a busy guy, but you still try to include your fans. You're on Twitter, right? People can...
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Definitely on Twitter. I got on Twitter. I haven't even been on Twitter in years. I got on Twitter right before my Timor fight. So in November, I got on Twitter.
So how do people look for your tweets?
I got to get better at it. Like, I've been on Twitter, like I said, I only got like 1,400 tweets. But I'm more, most of them interactive is right like a month or two before my fight, 2 months before my fight, and a month about after my fight. But I'm not the the one to, really tweet out like pictures of food and, stuff like that. But, I guess I gotta, get more interactive on my Twitter. But one thing I do answer a lot of my questions on Twitter. People, when they tweet me, I do get back with them.
You're not alone, man. I gotta start getting to know tweeting better too. I gotta get more familiar, man. And you have lots of fans that are not on Twitter. All your fans aren't on Twitter. What do you want to say to your fans who are listening?
Oh, man, I just want to tell them, man, thanks for their support. Continue to support me. Continue to keep me in their prayers. And definitely tune in on October 6th. HBO, it'll be in Atlantic City. I'm co-main event to The Problem, Adrian Bronner. So just tune in, man. I'm looking forward to putting on a great show. I'm fighting Jonathan Banks 28-1-1. He's very confident. I'm very confident. So, we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely looking forward for another victory. And if they can, if my listeners, they can follow me on Twitter at Seth Mayhem48 and on Facebook at Seth Mitchell. And I also want to thank you for taking the time to doing this interview with me.
Seth Mayhem Mitchell. It's been fun watching you rise up the ladder. I wish you continued success. I appreciate your time, Seth. Thank you, man.